I got a hunch the next siblings trip will be a 1-game, 2-day roadie. Maybe somewhere, perhaps a little quieter. I don't know. Maybe Dallas and Chicago were a little too fun. I kid half-heartedly, I think. Welcome to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. What do you think, Razor? Do you think we were so concerned that the siblings might not make it to Dallas? I think the players maybe didn't make it to Dallas, so to speak, as they lose the Dallas Stars 6-2, the game that wasn't even that close, my friend.
They got beat up. They got beat up pretty good. Started out fine, but penalties again. 3 penalties against that team in the first. You have no chance, even without Mikko Rantanen. So, probably didn't need the 2 days in between games. It would have been fine if it's one, a little quicker, a little less going, tours and dinners, and they're just busy. We talk about busy, whether it's the holidays or anything else like this. These are distractions. They get going, and again, a great trip for everyone, and one they'll never remember the score of this game. I don't remember the scores of the games that my dad was on. I have no idea what the scores were, but I remember all the other stuff. So at the end of the day, it's all worth it. But tonight, I'm sure they wished it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kidding about it. It was an awesome trip. They split the trip, which we said even before. That's what you want. I don't think you want it to end the way that it ended after a resounding comeback in Chicago a couple of nights ago. Saw them go down 2-0, albeit against a team of a very different ilk than the Dallas Stars. And there was a different energy too.
Yeah, way different energy. Way different energy for sure.
You're playing a team in Dallas too that's been getting their asses kicked a bit lately as well. So they had meetings for the last 2 days. They weren't yelling at each other, but they were saying things have got to change. They haven't been scoring. We talked about it on Pre-Brew. Everybody been talking about it. And so there was a focus to them that there just wasn't there for the Boston Bruins. I have a hard time picking out one player, Razor, one player in this game against Dallas that I would say stood out to me.
No, there wasn't anybody.
If I'm wrong.
No, there wasn't anybody. It was across the board. Very, very similar to the last 3 games on the road trips of the other road trips, whether it was Seattle, whether it was Minnesota, whether it was this one. It's just very similar. So now, like those other games, they have to reset and they have to come home and play a good game on Thursday. But there's nothing. Marco did a good job. I thought he answered the question really well at the end of the game with Brick, where, okay, what do you take from this? And he said, well, we take the fact that we got pounded by a team that goes to the playoffs every year, and they grinded us down, and we weren't willing to grind like they were. And they showed us something. So he's like, I thought that was a good answer. I thought that was a good way of explaining this game away. At the end was, listen, the fact was we weren't ready to put the complete commitment into this. And I think that's from top to bottom. And that's something that the group will have to work on.
I don't think they had the grind in them for this one. I don't disagree with you that the start wasn't bad. I actually was watching the game for a while. This was one of those games that I didn't work studio, but I was watching, and I was saying, this isn't a bad first period. This isn't a bad first period. I kept saying that kind of same thing, like pretty entertaining. I thought both teams were structured pretty well. I thought you could absolutely see the intensity of the Dallas Stars. I thought the Bruins showed it, I think, pretty obvious. If they get a first goal, who the hell knows if they end up winning? But it sure felt like it would make them, how's this again for instant analysis or great analysis? It would have given them a bump that they never got in this game. Whether or not they could have held on, I don't know. But to your point, as soon as they started taking penalties, you could argue that the interference call, the second penalty, was not a good call at all.
No, it wasn't.
At all. But you got to deal with the shit. It's just sometimes it's just the way it is, right? I mean, did you ever have a sibling trip? I know you had a mentor, a parent trip,
Yeah, just dads. I never had a mom's either. The mom one would have been amazing. I'm so Yeah, that's the one regret. I wasn't in charge, but I wish my mom could have gone because she would have went nuts. That would have been like the craziest thing ever. So no, I had 3 or 4 dad's trips, but that was it.
Somebody asked me the other day when this began because they thought it was awesome. How long is it going? And I said, I can see it, meaning I can remember without the details, though, that like this was about going on 20 years ago now that these trips began. It may have been the Blackhawks that started it.
I mean, I don't remember who started it. It was post lockout, the year that got lost. It was definitely after that. It was
like 2006, I believe.
My first one was 06 with Toronto. The Leafs did it. We went to Philadelphia in 06, the fall of 06.
All right, so maybe so what? It was the 04-05 season that was a lockout.
Correct. So 05-06.
So maybe 05 was it. There was a team, and I thought it was Chicago. Maybe. You know what? That wouldn't have been Chicago then, because Chicago wasn't at
They weren't good still.
They weren't. No, in fact, they had some shitty years then.
Yeah, rocky.
I can like at that point I think I was still with Atlanta. Yeah, I was with Atlanta, the Mighty Thrash. And I can feel like it's one of those, you have those moments you're like,
yeah.
And I'm seeing it, and it was kind of this fun thing, and it was a way. I remember people talking about it as a way, because it wasn't, we had the whole salary cap thing. This was a way to circumvent it without really being bad about it. Like saying, hey, this is a nice thing for the God, I got to. So if somebody out there remembers, send us a text.
Basically, what it wasn't even the circumvention. It was the fact that the teams actually had a shitload of money at that point. Now they had to spend it. And that was like a good way to spend it.
Yeah. And it made people happy.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah. Here you go. We just took $2.5 million away from you. Here, let your dad come on a trip for a day and a half with you. Thank you.
And then it just took off. And then, you know what it was? It was the Blackhawks who did the mom's trip the first time. That's what it was.
Okay.
Now I remember it was the Hawks. Oh, I gotta figure this out at some point. I got it. Because anyways, I just like
so again, I know the Leafs, the Leafs would have been one of the first if it could. I don't know if they were creative enough to think of it first, but they would have jumped on right away because that's what the Leafs do. Like they do everything first class. So so we were definitely one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 teams to do it when I went.
Did you ever have a dad's trip where a father just tapped out?
Every one of them. Every one of them.
Just didn't show up for the last game.
There's a couple pregame skate. Nah, I'm all set. I don't need to come to that. There's always a couple guys that didn't show.
And then there was the guy, there's always the dad who doesn't make it to morning skate, and you're kind of not worried, but you're like, okay, how's Joe doing? And the next thing you know, it's 4:30 and Joe's into 3. He's already into 3 beers. He's there, and it's
sure.
He's having a steak sandwich and a shrimp cocktail. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's all of a sudden he's like, oh, there's Joe. Yeah, it's funny stuff. And there's just a lot of content now in the social media world that comes from this stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
anyway, but it was good to see, and they had an awesome time. I mean, if you, I don't know if you could find 2 better cities for this kind of roadie, especially starting with a Saturday night in Chicago. You and I did our Saturday brew on EEI, and we talked about what a great place, that was to get to. And then you have the night to spend there too after the game. I can only imagine how much fun that was. I don't know what time they left on Sunday to get into Dallas to see, I'm assuming, the Pats game. But that couldn't have worked out better. And it worked out really well for the Bruins in Chicago. And in particular, it worked out well for Mason Lohrei, who had a couple of goals in that game. And it's not that we can still talk a little bit about this Dallas game, even though, critically honestly, there's really not a lot to talk about from that game.
It wasn't anything.
The Bruins got their butts kicked in almost every facet, by the way, from face-offs, power play, special teams, etc. Anyway, so going to that Chicago game, Bruins are down 2-0, but they didn't. You could feel that there was no worry whatsoever, and they start working their way back into the game. And I mean, I think it's probably just the most obvious thing to get to here, and that Mason Lohrei comes through in big moments for the team in that game, puts in 2 goals, his first career 2-goal game. this comes while the whole trade is out there, and the rumored that he's going to be part of a trade, Razor. Now, I can't confirm it. I don't know if you can confirm it, but it's been well reported, right? And so we're going to assume that it's all somewhat accurate, that he's part of it. How hard do you think that was for him to go through? Because that was a major moment for him, I think, in that game, producing goals like that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Hopefully, you can talk to him about it, or we could, someone will ask him about it, in a couple weeks when it goes away a little bit. But I don't know. I think it affects young guys a lot less. I for the most part,
Really?
young guys, yeah, they don't have family. They don't have to worry about telling their wife that they have to. Like, it's just like, all right, I'll pack a bag and I'm gone. I don't know. Whenever I was younger, I never thought about it or cared or really mattered to me at all.
Even if you love the place where you are.
Yeah, because again, well, I guess because when it's that, it's like you don't have any control over that either. Like, again, the worrying part is for everybody else. That's what, it's like everything in life. Like, you always worry about everybody else. When you're in the middle of it, it's more about who's getting the shrapnel outside. When you're into it, it's just what it is. So I'm sure if he definitely heard. Everybody's got phones nowadays, so he heard about it and someone talked to him about it. And my guess is, again, as a younger guy, I think you're like, all right, I'm gonna go play, I'm gonna score goals, and we'll see what happens.
Why don't we give him, I think it's appropriate, the spark of the week, we'll call it. And so there was no spark of the game against Dallas. If we were going to give a spark of the game, it would be the Stars power play, whether it's Wyatt Johnston or whatever, but we're going to give it to a Bruin. So we'll give our spark of the show. How about that?
Love it.
Mason Lohrei, even though Charlie McAvoy was the one off of a nice rush that got the Bruins back into the game at 2-1 with the first goal in Chicago. It ended up being Mason Lohrei who got the second goal and then provided another one and to break it. So we'll give you Sparks Hockey brings you the spark of the game, in this case, spark of the Chicago game. Go to sparkshockey.com. Check out some of the great deals that they've got on their site. Make sure to check out all the machines and all the other stuff that they have, including their Samurai, which is a great deburrer. Sparkshockey.com brings you the spark of the game. We'll give that again to Mason Lohrei. You know what we should do as well, real quick, while we're at it. Let's talk about Sunset Lake, because I took my sleep stuff already, partner.
Oh, mama.
I did. Well, an early morning coming tomorrow for me, 6 a.m.er. So Sunset Lake CBD provides me and all of us here at Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor the opportunity to have great all-natural made at their Northern Vermont farm products, whether it's sleep gummies, good night gummies, vibe gummies. You also have tinctures, right? You've got extra strength muscle rub, other great products, including stuff for our pets that both Razor and I have liked to use before with Mila and Cooper. Go to sunsetlakecbd.com. Use the code BREW20, BRU20. Get 20% off all of your orders. This is great stuff. And we can't emphasize enough the awesome customer service. I just took one of the gummies. Like about 30 minutes ago or so. So when we're done recording here, late night, it's going to be night. And if Cooper's not in my spot, actually, I don't think he took any stuff. But check out sunsetlakecbd.com. And again, use the code BRU20. All right. So this team has showed us something in the sense of, coming into this game, 8-1-0 in their last 9. We know, coming off of 6 straight wins, including that Chicago game. So now they've lost 1, and now they got 2 tough tests coming up in Vegas and Montreal, both back at home. We've had, to me, this season has been as extreme intensity, I guess. And I think I heard it was your buddy Cool's talk, my buddy too, Coolius, about how almost every game feels like make or break, do or die.
Yep.
It pretty much does, doesn't it? I mean, you've got a different personality than I do, so I'll fully admit that I'm more, type A about it. But doesn't it feel like that too? Like these two games coming up, because we're getting close to that Olympic break, a teeny bit to go. They're both really, really important just from a get back home and rebound from Dallas loss, and then Montreal, and that's always a big game.
Yeah, of course, Saturday night's going to be nuts. And then I'd also add into this, though, is the fact that they go back to back Monday, Tuesday. So they have 4 and 6 days. So it goes back to like having to play this kind of a schedule, flying halfway across the country tomorrow, losing an hour of time, then playing 4 games in 6 nights with a little puddle jumper to New York City for the night. It's just it's a lot, and yes, it is intense, and yes, it is because 2 points or 4-point game just makes such a difference in the standings. You literally jump 2 or 3 spots one way or the other with a win or a loss every game, and it's made it intense. It's made it feel vital every single time you're out on the ice. I think there is a way and a necessity to pull back just a little bit and not take every game to that. You are going to lose. We have seen every team lose like the Bruins did tonight against Dallas. I think the key is the key for them right now is to look, they're not looking ahead to the next 4 games. But if I'm looking ahead to the next 4 games, it's like split these 2 games. You can't lose 3 or 4 games in 6 days. That's what you can't do. Right. In the 6 days, you have to get 4 points. That'll keep you in the mix. That'll like 500 for me. If you can go, they have 7 games left. They go 4 and 3 before the break. That gets them to 9 games over 500 going into the Olympic break. You're in the mix the rest of the season, from my point of view. That's kind of the way I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the next 4 games. I know they come fast and furious, as you mentioned. They're going to that Tampa game coming up, the outdoor game. I mean, for both teams, I don't want to say it doesn't count, because of course it does, but that's so its own entity.
Yeah.
You saw the Florida Panthers, a better team than the New York Rangers, get throttled at, we'll call it home ice, at their event.
Yeah, that's a one-off. And then the other thing to that is like the Florida game before the break too. Like that's a weird game as well, even though that'll mean more in the standings because Florida's below the Bruins and it's going to be tighter. That's another weird game because you're going away for 3 weeks when that thing ends.
And the way that the Bruins, I know we're jumping all over here, folks, but this is just what we're
because they lost 6-2. We're not
right because they lost 6-2, and we're just talking. We haven't talked to each other for a half a day, so we're catching up. But so the Bees are going into Tampa on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So then they have Saturday practice, and then the game Sunday. Then they have Monday and Tuesday off in Florida, and then they play Wednesday. It's going to feel like a vacation.
Yeah,
it's really going to feel like a vacation. And knowing that after that game against Florida, you're literally on a 22-day or whatever it is vacation if you're not going to the Olympics. So you're right. It's going to be a very different game. So that's why, to me, I look at the next 2 games and say, I've got 2 2-game sets. This game against Vegas, the game then against Montreal. Then you've got the back-to-backers. You're going on that road to New York, and then you come right back home and play Nash. That's another 2-game set. Then you got Philly, right? That's its own thing. And then you've got those last 2, which we'll call them a set. So 3 2-game set. That Philly game was on its own. Now, the Philly game is at home as well. I want to see them go like 600 at home, so to speak. Find a way to win 2 of 3, 2 of the right, and get 4 of 6. That type of thing. And I'm no good at math, so forgive me if I screwed up my percentage. But anyways, that's what I'm looking at. I'm with you. Selfishly, I'd like to see them go. They're not going to maybe 5-2, but you go 4-2-1. That type of thing. Okay, so that would be good. That'd be real good. Get some points, take care of biz. Do you think that the Bruins, they're not done trying to make moves, right? No. I wanted to get, and I meant to get there. I probably should have just asked you right after the whole talking about Rasmus Anderson and the Lohrei thing not coming to fruition. And by the way, we haven't talked about it on the air yet because this wasn't really culminating. We did a little bit on Saturday, but with no extension, You can't make that trade, right? I mean, it's not even almost worthy of discussion.
No, not at all. And I guess for any of the talk radio people or whoever, I know none of the people that listen to us are talk radio people, but if you're talking to people that do talk radio, everybody, and you want to combat whatever they're talking about over there, is that obviously the Bruins they're not buying this whole buying and selling thing. They're going to make deals to make their team better. I think they have a lot of assets to do that, but it's very obvious they're not getting rental players. They're not trading a first round pick just for the sake of doing it. So
thankfully,
this is the example of that. Just do not stress whatever anyone's saying. They're going to make a hockey deal if it's there. They'll trade a first round pick if they can get a player that's better than a first round pick. And that's hopefully what they do. From my point of view, I want them to better the team. I think they have a decent stable, but they're not doing the rental. They're not bringing somebody in
Nor
for
should
the
they.
sake of having a month and a half. It's just not happening.
So I would have been very good if they had made a trade to get him with similar, whatever the assets were, if they were similar. Okay. That's a lot of money if the rumor's true of 63, but I guess that's the going rate, right?
Yep.
7 years at 9. I mean,
Yep.
for a guy like that, I would have been okay with it because, you figure it's 7-year deal. You put the first 4 years into it real hard with the window of these other guys that they have, and you see if you can do something and you make a really good top 4D. I would have been all right with it, but a rental, no way. I would have abhorred the deal. I would not have liked. I would have felt awful about it, Razor. I think, and I don't think that Bruins fans out there, to their credit, if you go by social media, which is always not the right thing to do, but from what I saw, everybody was very okay. Hey, this was a good no trade, meaning pull out by the Boston Bruins management.
Yeah, no, it is. I'd be more curious to see what people thought. I think there's a swell that don't trade any draft picks. That's or prospects or anything else. I would have been more curious if they did the deal and there was 2 first round picks involved or something like that. That would be,
well,
I'd be more curious to see what the social media says.
I got to tell you somebody, if 1 first round pick, I'm good with. And especially if it was a 27 first round pick, again, as rumors suggested it could be, that would have been ideal for me. But no way, I wouldn't have wanted 2 first round picks. I know your stance on picks, but I would not have wanted 2 first round picks given up. That's too much for a team that is still in growth. The grass seeds are still taken. You know what I mean? Like they're strong roots. They're starting to be nice, and the grass is getting green.
The grass can't sign everybody. Can't sign everybody.
Yeah, I know you can't sign everybody, but I don't think this year getting rid of 2 firsts this year would have been optimal. Maybe next year.
No, I'm saying maybe a 26 and then a 27. You have 2 in both years. That's all I'm saying. I'm just what again,
I know. You're saying in theory. I'm getting it. Let's quickly talk about Fazenda and Copeland Automotive, and then we got a couple of questions that are coming, and I got a few more things for us. FazendaCoffee.com/morning brew. The place to go to check out the Morning Brew blend, the hats. Not this one. A few people actually have asked me the last few weeks. This was a limited edition. Like 2 were made of the gold backs and the black fronts. We have the all blacks still available at FazendaCoffee.com/morning brew. We also have the Morning Brew blend. I think they may be out of the clean canteens, but you can check there or not because they sold well. But check them out. Fazenda Coffee's all over Boston, greater Boston, Boston's boutique coffee roaster. So many great products. Their coffee blends are beautiful, whole bean, or they'll grind it for you. FazendaCoffee.com/morning brew. Speaking of beautiful, Copeland Automotive Group. You can count on Copeland. Count on Copeland.com. A beautiful place to go when you're looking for a car like Razor has done over the years. Toyota, Chevrolets, and Subaru. Todd Copeland and his group, they've got 5 different dealerships right now. Go to countoncopeland.com. Check out all of the new and used deals that they've got going there. They will absolutely make you feel so comfortable. They'll give you a coffee, grab you a water, talk hockey, and if Razor goes there, and I'm teammates with Todd Copeland for years, and I love the guy, and I love the fact that he sponsors us now. It's just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Go there, check out Con Copeland, and that's if you're looking for a new ride. Great place to go.
Best time to do it too. Start of the year, right?
It is. You're right. It's a good call. Yeah. Check out Con Copeland.
Go do.
Yeah. All right. All right. So got a couple of questions that were brought in here by listeners. I put out something late on social media, so just a couple, but I thought I've got two really good ones. G Rant, the real G Rant, he goes, or I don't know, he or she goes by. Do you think Fraser Minten can get to 20 goals? He says, my 7th player award winner thus far. Go Bees. Thought it was a good question. And he scored against Dallas on a nice turnaround backhand, right? It was a nice, battled in front of the. By the way, before we get into the kid is stronger, physically stronger than I think when looking at him, then you realize he's listed at 6'2", 204, but he doesn't come off as this behemoth. Would you agree? Like and that's a big dude. That's a solid size guy. It's not 6'4", 230, but you know what I mean? Like, but he is really strong on his skates, and he's excellent, I think, at maneuvering around the front of the net, Razor. And I didn't expect that. Maybe because I just didn't know as much about him, but his strength in that area has impressed the heck out of me.
It has, and he's getting smarter. He's figuring it out, right? He's been tested, he's been pushed, he's been testing himself and being tested in that area, and he's starting to figure it out. He's starting to get a stick open, he's starting to get his feet, he's starting to find those little nuance throughout that limited space. And he is bigger and stronger than he looks, because he has a baby face, I think, and he just, he's a young kid, but he's got a pro body. But we talked about it last season when he came up and when he was first dealt. We're like, he looks like a National Hockey League player. Don't know if he's going to, but he looks like one when he skates around, his size and his build. And we're seeing that he's starting to grow into it a little bit. And he needs 8 goals in 32 games. I like the odds of him getting to 20, and that would be, one heck of a pull.
If that happens, that would be, you could argue, the one of the top 3 great things to happen for the Bruins this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No question. Yeah.
Now you start doing what we've already talked about. You start saying, could he be actually a second line center in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah.
That maturation process. So that would be awesome, because if you're saying, hey, if he can do 20 and they get to 25, let's just see if he could actually be that second C. That would be awesome. All right. Garrett Whitlock Enjoyer. That's what the handle says. Could we see an Aspero-like extension for Marat Khusnutdinov? Khusnu. He said, feels like he absolutely deserves one. I say yes. Was he finishing a deal at $925 this year? I believe, was it $925, $975? I'm trying to pull up the I like going to Puckpedia. Is that who you use?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's the easiest one to look at for me. He's got 2 year. He signed 2-year deal. Yeah, that's what I thought.
2-year deal.
This is his first year, so he can't extend until this time next
July.
year.
He can't extend to July or Jan 1.
July. Ooh.
So they're not going to extend him though over the summer.
No. They're not going to. Again, they'll extend him at this time next year if he's having the same kind of year next year. That's basically what will happen.
Right.
Because they're not extending him in July. They're going to wait to see what he does next year.
So he signed. So then you're telling me, and again, I should
2-year 9.25 a year, or 9.25, 1.85.
But he signed it with the Bruins then. So he didn't come here with he signed it this past summer then. That's what after he got traded to the Bruins. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I could see with another year. I mean, what is he at? He's at 11 or 12 goals. I'm pulling that up too. Yeah, he's at 11 goals.
11.
So I mean, he's going to shoot for, obviously, he wants 30 points for sure. He wants more than that, but he wants a minimum of 30, and he should, in theory, if he keeps it up, maybe 35.
Yep.
I don't know what that translates to if you have a 35 and then a 40-point year, but he will make more than $925 a year. Certainly. If he gets to that. But I don't think they would hesitate to. I think they feel that he is showing that he has significant value to this team. I think eventually, Razor, on a really good team, he slots as a third line guy. Mm-hmm. That's my take, that can elevate in the lineup if necessary. But you look to use his speed to be a catalyst in that regard. Again, he makes those around him happy because of his work ethic, and that's important. He's a joy to be around, and I think that plays into it too. His teammates absolutely love him in the locker room. He's always got a smile on his face. And I said this on Nesson the other day too. His English has gotten remarkably good in the last 6 months. Really excellent. So kudos to him, because that is not easy. Razor, before we go, I wanted to just show something quickly. So the other day at Nesson, all of a sudden, we got pizzas. Okay, we had pizzas. They brought in some pizzas. Very nice of Nesson the other night. It was Saturday. So Saturday night, some delicious pizzas came in for us. Compliments of Nesson. And all of a sudden, there's a box over near the pizza boxes. And I kind of just look. I just look over at it.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. I was wondering where you're going with this. I was like, I was racking my brain. Like, do you see as a surprise for me, or like?
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
But I know now. Yeah, okay, got it.
Anyways, there's this box over there.
It's great.
Average size, small average, and I'm like, it says Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor stuff. I'm like, what is this stuff over there? Did Nesson make us something? Is it cake? Now I'm really excited. I'm like, oh, it's not our birthday, or it's not our anniversary or anything, or thought maybe, did they know, is this a gift that we're not supposed to see? And I look in there again, and there's 3 racks of these great looking mug, hot holder, mug cup
coasters.
Coasters. Geez, thank you.
Yeah.
And they're in holders that are outstanding, that have some of our sponsors on it, like Sparks. This is, from last year, and also Fazenda. But here, I'm holding them up if you're on YouTube. So this is our buddy Tom, who has in the past sent us coasters, different style coasters that are always awesome. And he just sent it to us, but there's no delivery on it. I don't know how the box got there. And you think somebody may have said, hey guys,
you think someone would say, but that sounds about right.
No, they just leave it in the middle of the room of the workspace. Anyways, thank you to Tom for sending these very cool looking coasters, and with coaster holders on it, with some of our sponsors over the years on it. So Tom, thank you very much, partner. We just got Tom. I don't know when you sent them.
Yeah.
All I know,
it's a year ago.
You could have sent them a year.
We did get them. I have them out. They're awesome. Thank you.
So we have them. And RC, I've got a couple for you, big guy, too. So thanks, Tom, for that. We appreciate it. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. Bruins lose in Dallas. They win in Chicago. Razor, you and I will be doing a pre-brew before the game on Thursday. I don't think we're going to do an episode after that game, but then we got our Saturday EEI show, and we got a couple of interviews that are tentatively scheduled to come up that we'll be recording in the next probably 5 days, and then we'll get those out. So a lot of content coming up, folks. Hang in there. This loss kind of going to happen, whether they lost 3-2 or 6-2. Loss is a loss. They come home for games on Thursday and Saturday, Vegas and Montreal. Let's see if they can rack up some points there. Razor, great to see you. Go get some rest. I'm going to do the same. RC, thanks for everything. Everybody enjoy your coffee.